Hi everyone, it's Angela from Cloudfetti, and today I'm sharing how to make a tulip flower in a pot out of polymer clay. So to start out, I have a medium-sized ball of pastel blue clay and I'm rolling it into a thick cylinder. Then I'm flattening both ends on my work surface. And then rolling one end slightly narrower than the other. Next, I have a small ball of the same clay and I'm rolling it into a thick snake. And flattening it with my rolling pin between two single popsicle sticks. Then, with my long blade, I'm removing it off my work surface and placing the flattened snake horizontally. Then just trimming the edges so they're nice and straight. Then I'm taking the strip and wrapping it around the edge of the thicker end. Removing the excess. And then just smoothing the gap together. And now I have a small ball of brown clay and I'm flattening that down with my finger. And removing it off my work surface with my blade. And then placing it in the center of the pot. Then to make it look like soil, I'm using a needle tool to texture it, so just poking and swirling the clay until it's all covered. So now to make the tulip stem, I have a small ball of light green clay and I'm rolling that into a thick snake. Then I'm using my blade and trimming both ends so that they're flat. So now that that's made, I'm moving on to the leaves, and for those I have two small balls of the same green clay and I'm taking one and flattening it with my finger. I'm then just removing it off my work surface and placing the long side vertically. And then with my craft knife, I'm cutting out a long leaf shape. Removing the excess. And pressing a line down the center with a needle tool. I've then gone ahead and made a second leaf. Next, to add a little bit of shading to the leaves, I've chosen a green chalk pastel and I'm using my blade to shave some into a powder. and then just brushing it over the sides of the leaves. I've then shaded the top and bottom of the stem. I've then got a long piece of wire that I cut from an eye pin, and I'm just pushing it through the center of the snake. And now I'm going to fully bake the stem alongside the two leaves using my package's instructions so that they harden. So now after those have cooled down completely, I'm squeezing some bacon bond onto one end of the wire on the stem and placing it in the center of the soil. Next, I'm gently pressing the leaves into the soil on each side of the stem just to make some little indents where they'll sit. Then I just press the tip of a blade into them so that they create an opening. And then brushing some bacon bond onto the leaves. And sticking them in place. I then have a small white slice of a heart cane, and I'm brushing on a bit of bacon bond onto it. And pressing it onto the front of the pot plant. And then baking everything fully in my oven for a second time. And once they've cooled down completely, I have a large ball of dark pink clay, and I'm rolling one side into a thick teardrop shape. And then squeezing on a bit more bacon bond on the top of the stem. And placing the pink clay onto the top and pinching the top into a point so it looks like a chubby rounded triangle. Then once it's shaped, I'm baking everything fully for a third time and leaving it to cool completely. And then once it is, I'm brushing on some bacon bond onto the bottom 2/3 of the pink clay. I then like to leave it for about an hour so that the liquid turns tacky. I find that it makes it easier to work with and less slippery this way. In the meantime, I have another ball of the same pink clay, and I'm rolling it out between two single popsicle sticks, just using my acrylic rolling pin. I then have some plastic wrap, and I'm placing it over the clay and smoothing it flat. I then have a small teardrop-shaped cookie cutter. And I'm cutting out 4 pieces, just straight on top of the plastic wrap, which will just help to round the sides of the petals. If you don't have a cookie cutter to do this, you can just draw a template on a piece of paper and cut around that. I'm then removing the wrap and the excess clay. And then the petals off my work surface. When the bacon bond is ready, I'm placing the petals all around the chubby triangle with the points facing up. And then going ahead and bunching them together. And then I'm using my finger to press the bottom of the petals down towards the stem so it covers the base of the flower. So now it's time to add the face, so I'm using a dotting tool to poke holes for the eyes to go. And adding in 2 little balls of black. And a little tiny smile. Then for the cheeks, I'm pressing on some small balls of light pink. And now it's ready for the last and final bake in the oven. And that's all for this tutorial. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!